Yay. Okay, here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. There's some people already waiting here. I should have told you too. I don't know if you can see the chat on the right side there.
I do.
Perfect.
Only with my glasses, though, actually.
Oh, that's okay. I can let you know questions, and
okay. That's fine.
We'll get there. Say hello. We'll give everyone a minute to come in. We've been really excited. Everybody's been kind of talking about the interview and getting it going. We had an open forum where people could submit questions if they wanted to. So I have a whole list.
Really? Wow.
I do. Everybody's been pretty excited.
Great.
So if you want to get started, it's starting to rain. Yuck. Better than snow, I guess. I'll be fine. All right. So I would kind of just like to start with what's your favorite song that you have created?
Oh, that's an impossible question to answer. I could go. I'd be more apt to maybe say my favorite song per album, but I think Warrior Queen might be one of the top favorite songs because it just is such the song itself like scraped on such an epic, journey type thing. So that's definitely one of the top ones for sure.
So did I know when I first heard that song, I have to say I like burst into tears. It brings you right into the story and so good. All right. And then, so how did that song come about? Did you have a dream? Did you have an inspiration?
It was an inspiration. I was jamming with some friends, all women. We were jamming, and one of my friends was just kind of plucking this little riff out on her guitar. And I said, "What is that?" She said, "That's just something I've been writing." But as she played it for just a few seconds or 30 seconds, this whole song downloaded into my brain in like a millisecond. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm writing a song to it. She goes, "It's all yours. Just take it away." So she had just done this little chorus or this verse part. And then I took it and wrote a chorus for it, and I turned it into a song. But the whole story literally downloaded into my brain in like a millisecond. But that's not my normal process. I'm like an excruciatingly painful writer. Like, I'm not prolific. Sometimes things take years for me to write. Like Freya took me almost 3 years to finish that song, whereas other things download in my head. So I have no process. Basically.
That was definitely like a meant to be kind of song.
No process at all.
Take that and put it into a book.
That was my mother. So I had played the song from my mother, and she's like, and this was 2003, right before I released the album, Lady Moon. She's like, "I love it. What's the story?" I go, "Well, Mom, that's the story. She's a queen. She's died on the battlefield." She goes, No. That's the story of her death. I want to know about her life." So I had started thinking about that in 2003, about a story. And I knew it was going to be a trilogy, like a Maiden, Mother, Crone, breaking up that. I just knew it. And I started writing notes over it over the years and kind of dreaming it up as I went along until I met my co-author, and the whole thing just became real. So we've got 2 books out, and we're working on the 3rd of the trilogy right now.
Yay! So exciting. Thank goodness for mothers.
Yeah, thanks, Mom, for that inspiration. Indeed. What's the story? Yeah. It's like, well, as a matter of fact, there happens to be a story.
Yeah. How long did Walk with the Goddess take to write? I know that's one of our songs that we just love when we're doing ritual. That's one of those that just kind of comes out, and it means so much to everyone.
I was at a community meeting with a good friend of mine, Leandra Walker. And at the time, I smoked cigarettes. I don't smoke now, but we were the only smokers in the group. So we were on break. So we were out front in the cold in Ashburnham, standing outside. And my CD was out, and she knew what my thing was. She said to me, "I've never written anything in my life except I walk with the goddess walks with me." I go, "Well, that's pretty good, actually." And on the drive home, 25 minutes from where we were meeting to my house, I had written all of the I Walk with the Goddess chant. And I phoned her. I'm like, I wrote a whole thing to this, and I sang it to her, and she's like, I love it. So she inspired that one. My friend Leander inspired that one. My friend Leander also inspired She Is Crone. My chant She Is Crone for her croning ceremony. So, yeah.
So do you consider yourself to be a pagan, a witch, a Wiccan, none of the above?
I would call myself a pagan. I mean, labels I hate so much, because everybody gets so worked up about stuff. But I think I'm a pagan. I'm very earthy, but I'm not a traditionalist. I don't know anything about degrees. I didn't have formal, I had some Wiccan training, I guess, and I learned responsible magic, of which I'm grateful for. But it was way too rigid for somebody like me. I call myself a kitchen witch. I'm just an elemental kind of pagan. I just work really deeply with all the elements, and I don't do ritual. Every breath to me is a ritual. Every step is ritual, And I came to that after, so many years,
Right.
over 30 years on my path. So I wasn't always kind of this eclectic about it, but and then my pantheon is like from all over my ancestry. It comes from Celtic, and it comes from Norse, and it comes from, indigenous America. It's like everywhere. So I'm definitely not any kind of a traditionalist at all.
Yeah, well, you fit right in. We really feel the same way. We have all kinds of, same with me, I have all kinds of different pantheons. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people in here who, follow Lucifer. There's people who follow different gods and goddesses. There's people that don't follow any goddesses. So we say we're eclectic squirrels.
That's about right. Eclectic. I like that. America is very much an eclectic. We all come from all these different ancestries and traditions. We're not traditionalists like when you go to like England and Ireland, and there's lines that have kind of, been formed for a long time, but we don't really have that here. But it makes us so, when we all gather for festival and we get together for public ritual, it's so wonderful to see traditions come together and everything's okay. Oh, who's running the ritual this time? Oh, it's the Druids. Oh, okay. And who's doing it this year? Oh, it's the Wiccans, or it's the Dianics, and we're all like, okay, this is cool. We all just go for it, and we celebrate our similarities. We don't concentrate on the differences. And it's one thing I love about paganism and the magical movement in America.
I so agree. So do you feel like, because I know we've been talking a lot in our circles about 2020, and that this breaking down is purposeful to build us back up to something else? And is it like an enlightenment phase? And what do you think about what's happened this year?
Well, 2020 sucks. Let's just start by saying that. But, just like the tower, when things get torn down, you're left with all the blocks to build back up again. So for me personally, 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, I stepped away from my musical, life of touring and performing. I had my father-in-law who was very ill and out of state, and my husband would travel he was his caretaker. So I had to be home. We had an elderly dog, and somebody had to be home to hold down the fort. And after, decades of jetting around the world whenever I felt like it, it was kind of my responsibility now to hold down that fort. So I went and I got a day job. Like an office 9 to 5. It was like prison within like a month. I was like, this is the worst experience of my life. And I kind of jumped through like a few different jobs, just kind of making my way. I'm really great with numbers. I'm actually going to school for an associate's degree in accounting as my backup job, my future. My retirement work is going to be an accountant. So I've done a lot of bookkeeping. So I managed to get some really great jobs, but oh gosh, it was like a nightmare. I hated it. I needed it though. I was so burned out at the time. It was just like I just threw my hands up. I said, I'm exhausted. I'm burned out. I've traveled all over the world and I needed a break. So I took it. And then it was getting unbearable, the day job type thing. And I had been out of my kind of scene for a few years, and I just wasn't even sure how to bring myself back into it really. But then I lost my job. Oh, thank gosh, to COVID shutdowns. So at the end of March, I lost my job, and I freaked out for a few months, for sure. which there's, financially and in our stability, my husband and I are in a great place. I never had to worry if I was going to have food on my table or a roof over my head. Thank the gods, because a lot of people are in that situation. I happen to be lucky that I was not. And, I had myself set up for if anything ever came up that, I could ride it out. So it took a few months of really feeling like weird and like a failure because I lost my job, a job I hated, mind you. Okay, so try to rationalize that one. But then summer came and I got past that and I started getting really excited about just coming back to myself and to music and magic and workshops and, my pagan musical family. And I switched gears. I just said, okay, this is great. I'm free. I've been like liberated from prison now. And to keep myself sane, I got myself a puppy and, I've been doing puppy stuff. And, I started a Patreon campaign. I'm doing concerts and reading book chapters and doing so much fun stuff now that I wouldn't have done had not I lost the job. So.
I so agree. I can't. I've heard that over and over and over and over. And the same kind of thing happened to me too. I was in healthcare. And so when this hit, it was like a nightmare. And I thought, oh gosh, what am I doing? I know I don't want to do this. And Scott and Cassie just happened to be there starting this metaphysical shop and offered me to come and work for them. And I thought, oh, this is it. Thank goodness. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
And I have heard that same thing, reprioritizing, deciding what's important. And, the universe just kind of does that when we fail to do it ahead of time.
It's true. I know full well how to make my way successfully. I did it for decades, and this is no different. In fact, I'm probably more focused and more grounded, and I have a way more idea of what I do and what I don't want as far as my career goes, and good ways to do things and some not so great ways to do things. So I worked out all my kinks, and now I'm just getting myself back out there. Oh, and I also became a certified Zumba instructor. I figured make a little bit of money because I do Zumba like 3 times a week. So I decided I was going to teach it. So I just finished my certification and I'm going to be doing some Zumba with the goddess classes. And
I love it. Oh, that's great.
So I just literally
I have to sign up. I need that.
Oh, you guys, it'll be so great. I just finished my certification like yesterday. It was like 12 hours of training that I did. And I'm going to specialize in what's called Zumba Gold, which is a little bit more of a moderate pace with low to no impact, so there's a different like levels of it. So I'm going to do another training to specialize in that. Cause a lot of people are like, I can't jump around and my ankles, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I have an answer for that one. So that's something I love. That's just, I figured if I teach a few classes a week, I'll probably pay for like my phone bill or something, just
right. How cool. I have not taken a Zumba class my entire life. It's funny. Being on YouTube for so long, I'm kind of an introvert, extrovert,
Yeah, me too.
Don't go out and do all kinds of stuff outside of the house, but then I, teach everyone all this stuff and have a channel. But that sounds so interesting.
I'm going to start a Zumba group, on Facebook, and I will add you to the Zumba group. And then you can see, I'll start classes like great time is New Year's resolution. So I figure I'll start right after New Year's.
Perfect.
Get that certification ready and get people inspired to do a little bit of Latin dance. It's so much fun. It doesn't feel like you're working out. That's what I love about it. I am not a dancer, but I love to do Zumba, so it's something that's super fun. So yeah, I'm just figuring out ways to make my way basically through life without having to work for the man because I hate it.
I'm with you there. Do you feel that, so I don't know if you consider yourself to be in your crone phase, but I feel like I have just hit my crone phase within the last couple of years probably. And I feel so grateful. It's funny, I guess I always thought getting older, I would be, I don't know, upset about it or something, but I just find that I love it so much. Like I have more confidence in myself. I feel like, if you don't like me, you don't like me. I don't give a shit. It's so different, to want to put my knowledge out there so that other people can connect to the universe, to whatever. I just find that I'm loving it. Do you feel that?
I like where I am right now, as far as like my experience and my wisdoms, and like I said, knowing what I want and what I don't know. I know who I am. I have nothing to prove to anybody, but I don't think I'm too young at heart to ever think of myself as a crone. I'm 52 years old, and I'm like, shocks me. I'm like, are you sure I'm not still 25? What happened? How could I be double that? Because I still feel like I was in my 20s, so I haven't grown up yet. So
Good. That's all
not
right.
quite. But I'll let you know when that happens.
I think my boys help with that. To hear my oldest say he's 28, I'm like, no, you're not. I'm not even 28. What are you talking about?
See, I never had any children to age me.
No, that's the key.
That's probably a lot to do with it right there. It's just only myself to worry about and my puppy.
Okay. Where have you performed? Like, do you have a least favorite venue and a most favorite venue?
The Goddess Conference in Glastonbury, England has been hugely important to me in my life. I did my first conference at 2003, and I've been there, I don't know, 8, 9 times since. I did this summer virtually. I'm hoping to get there next summer, but if not, I'll do virtually again. So the Goddess Conference in Glastonbury, England is a huge place for me. And the Lorelei Rowan Festival is in Holland, and that's like 1,000 women over 2 weekends. It's beautiful, big teepees, and it's just a gorgeous place. There's so many least favorites. I'm not getting into it. Everybody has crappy gigs. Everybody's been to a crappy festival. You know what I mean? Or, as a musician, there's a terrible stage, or there's a sound man who is awful, or there's no equipment, or it rains. I mean, there's always something positive in everything.
I only bring that up because Cassie and I we laugh all the time because we were at your the Buffalo Pagan Festival last year, a year and a half ago or something.
Pagan Pride?
That was the worst. We felt so bad for you, first of all, and it was the worst. It was like the crappiest little. Oh God! And then you were trying to read part of your book, and they had some craft thing going on behind you.
And they kept shushing me.
Yeah. It was
actually. I had a great time there. I made bang. Like I sold tons of stuff. I went home with like wads of cash from that gig, and the sound man was really, really amazing. So for me,
that's good. We love the concert part was great.
Yeah,
but you were the best part of it. I have to say there was pretty much nothing else going on there.
Well, there's places where they treat you really well and welcome you and treat you like the queen, and that was one of those places. They treated me very well there. And there's places where you walk in and there's like, whatever, So, and it wasn't like that at all. I made a lot of great connections. I really remember having a really wonderful day till I left. I didn't realize that New England was playing the Buffalo Bills that day, and I started driving out of there towards home, Massachusetts, and didn't get 30 miles when I just said, Hotel Marriott, there I am. I just got a room that day. I called my hubby. I'm like, I am not driving all the way home with this traffic. I just got a nice cushy Marriott with all my cash that I made, and I am chilling.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, no, I enjoyed that gig.
I forgot about that. We talked about football. I forgot about that.
Right. Oh, that was the night that the Miami got like toasted. It was so bad, but we won't talk about that. Tom Brady.
Yeah. I can say he's good now because he's not my division. Thank goodness.
Right.
Do you sing in the shower?
I sing all the time, all over the house.
What songs do you sing? Do you have songs that you like just are go-to? Are they yours? Are they other people's?
No, Madonna's Last Night I Dreamt of San Pedro. I don't know if it's because of all the Latin music I've been dancing to, like I'm thinking of songs that you could do like, salsa to. That's one that's stuck in my head. And these random things get stuck in my head. Show tunes. Are you kidding me? It was something from My Fair Lady last week. Was I Could Have Danced All Night. And I was just singing that around the house. I hum the same like stanzas over and over, drive my husband crazy.
Yes, I know. I sang Hamilton for like a month when it came out of Disney, and my husband's like, "Oh my gosh,
will you please stop?
I don't want to see it. Please watch it with me." No,
I always have a song stuck in my head or in my head at all times. I sing all the time.
What's the most useless talent you have?
The most useless talent?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Useless talent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aren't all talents usually pretty useful? Do I have a useless talent? I have to think about that one. I don't know.
All right.
I'm sure I do. I just can't think of it right now.
If you could open a show for any artist, alive or dead, who would it be?
Oh, gosh. I want to open for Led Zeppelin. I want to sing Battle of Evermore with Robert Plant more than anything. It's on my bucket list. Okay, Robert? That's on my bucket list. Battle of Evermore with you.
That's a good one. Oh, I like it. Yes. Who would you most like to collaborate with?
Collaborate with. Ooh, Sully from Godsmack.
Oh, that would be really interesting.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I think we could rock out some pagan tunes.
Yes. Yule is around the corner. What is your favorite way to celebrate this Sabbath?
I love to shut all the lights off in the house and just light as many candles as I possibly can. I live on sacred land, ancient native land here, and there's sundials and petroglyphs and mounds and stone circles all over the area. So if I can ever stay up, I sometimes will go out and watch the sunrise. So there's some beautiful petroglyphs and effigy stones around here. So
Oh, beautiful.
don't always get to. I don't always stay up all the time, but one time, one or two times, I was actually able to stay up all night and kind of watch the sunrise.
I agree. I'm right there with you. The year before last, I guess, on my channel, we were supposed to do this Yule Fest, and everyone was going to do an hour-long thing. And about 3 a.m, we were like, "Okay, good night, we're done."
Yeah, that's what usually happens to me too, because my husband can never stay out. He's like snoring on the couch by 11, and I'm all on my own. So I'll be like, "Should I stay up? It's like 15 degrees outside. Maybe I don't want to go out there at 4 o'clock in the morning."
No.
The intention's there.
Yes, absolutely. That's what really counts for sure. Do you have a favorite way to ground and center yourself when you're traveling or touring?
Well, I'm a Pisces with a Taurus moon and a Virgo rising. I am uber grounded like an oak tree. And I'm also a real nester. So no matter where I am on the road, I always kind of make it feel homey to me so that I'm comfortable there. That could be one of my superpowers. One of my useless talents is just like being able to, create my nest or whatever, so that I feel comfortable where I am.
Nice. We have several people from Massachusetts, and they would like to know, where in Mass are you? I'm sure they would really like to know the address so they can come stalk you. But
I am in Western Massachusetts.
Nice.
I'm between the Connecticut River and the Quabbin Reservoir. That's all y'all need to know. That's my area.
Do you believe that music has
Hi, buddy. Come on. Sorry, my puppy.
That's okay.
Music has its own consciousness for sure. Music is like eternal spirit speaking, I think. I have a story to that's just really appropriate. I was in China, of all places. I had gone on a trip when I first met my honey. We had gone with, I think, 13 people. A friend of ours ran a tour. And we went to the Qigong Institute of Beijing. And they took us to like Buddhist temples and Taoist temples and out into the land. We got out of the city and we traveled. We traveled from an area from like Massachusetts to South Carolina and back. That's how far we traveled when we were there. But there were these long, endless bus rides. And there were these young early 20s Chinese women who were our tour guides. And they would sing Chinese folk songs to us on the endless bus rides. They'd be up there singing with their microphone. So halfway through the trip, they heard that I was a singer. So they asked me to sing something from my country. What do you sing? Aerosmith? I mean, what's American? Right? What do you sing? Hotel California? I didn't know what. So I chose a Lakota chant that I learned from Brook Medicine Eagle called Yatuhe. And I started singing it. And as I started singing it, the two young Chinese women that were our guides, they joined in within really quick from the beginning, and they started singing with me. And I said to them after we were done, I said, "You picked up so quickly on that song. Do you have a background in music?" And they said, no, that's identical to one of our Chinese folk songs with different words.
I love that.
And I literally got the chills over my entire body. That was like this bridge. Music is a bridge. It has spirit. It lives, it travels, it tells stories, it connects. And emphatically, yes, music has consciousness.
Goosebumps. I love that. Beautiful. What? Someday I'm going to travel maybe next life. I don't know.
At least not till next year or later.
Gosh, I know it. Let's hope. Do you have like an activity or a ritual that you do before you sit down to write music?
No.
Nothing, just whatever inspires you. Or
yeah, what happens with me is that I get these song tags in my head, like pieces of songs, whether they're verses or choruses or melodies or stories or ideas, and they just simmer inside of my head, and it can be months, years, days, weeks, whatever, and then ultimately I'll just sit down and start penning them out. But I'm terrible. I'm not a disciplined writer. I don't have a good process at all. I'm so like all willy-nilly. That's just me all the way.
Whatever comes up.
True that. I never try to force it, because then I get writer's block immediately. So I let it flow. I have a half a dozen songs that I'm writing in my head now, so I can't wait to start putting some stuff to paper.
So just call us and start singing. Okay. What was it like when your fame grew? How long did it take for you to become accustomed to us fangirling, so to speak?
Well, hi, Blue. You gonna be saying hi to the people? Come here. My puppy just jumped up on the bed. What are you doing?
Beautiful.
Can you say hi? Come over here. Put your fat yeah, he just like crashed my interview. Are you playing with your papa? You look winded. So it was really strange. I went to that first goddess conference in 2003, and I saw people doing music to the goddess. I hadn't recorded anything at that time, but I was inspired. I said, wow, people want to hear music to the goddess. People want to hear this. So I went home from Glastonbury in 2003, and I recorded Lady Moon in like a month. And I had released it, and I sent it back to Glastonbury before New Year 2003, and I was booked to headline the very next summer.
Wow.
And I remember getting there, and we had a morning, my drummer was with me, my percussionist Tina. We had a morning chant, like a half-hour chant at like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh my gosh, kill me now. We get there, and all the Brits are sitting there all primly just looking at the stage very nicely. And what did you do with him? Oh, you're trying to take him out. He's running for the hills. So we just you've heard my chants. This is my husband. He's chasing the puppy down. Yeah, we got our hands full with this little guy, let me tell you. Takes two. So we just started playing drumming and singing our chants, and of course, we're kind of just like Americano, full tilt, and people just sat there paralyzed. They were hardly moving, and I was just like, they hate us.
This is bad.
They can't handle us, So I was kind of mortified because people just didn't seem expressive or moving at all. And then I said to Tina, the drummer, I said, this is so bad. They hated us, Tina. We're going to go home in shame. So she comes back in. I'm breaking down the stage. She comes back and she goes, you have to come with me right now. I'm like, what? So she brings me into this front room, and there's a whole mob of people, and there's just like people waving money in the air. I kid you not. And I go, what the hell's that? She goes, your CD table. I was like, oh, okay. So they liked it. So from that conference, and that conference is international, I met women from all over the world. And that summer, right there with that first CD, my stuff went international.
Wow.
I was in the right place at the right time with the right music, and the goddess just said, here, here's your gift. You've been working hard. And
wow.
So I was very lucky. I crashed onto the scene.
That is, so did it take you a while to get used to like people recognize you, or does it happen? Do people recognize you?
It happened that week where I was after that concert, that little morning concert. I was walking down the little village streets of Glastonbury, and a woman was like, "Please let me buy you coffee." So I sat down with this woman, and she said, "I was just paralyzed when you were singing. I could not move a muscle. I was completely stunned and just enamored. I was blown away, So I sat and had a coffee with her. And then a couple of days later, I was walking. A woman's like, "I have to tell you that when you started singing, I just wanted to jump up and dance. I wanted to move." So it was like the exact opposite, like, reaction from people. And to this day in Glastonbury, people recognize me in the market. They play my music a lot there. It's like all my friends visited there and said, "Your music was everywhere." I was like, "Oh, sweet." So, yeah.
And how do you take that, like your image of yourself? I know on a very much smaller scale, I have this channel thing, and it cracks me up when people are like, "Oh, Jen," because I'm like, it's just me. I don't know what you're talking about. But it also, it kind of makes you feel like, I don't know. For me, it took me a long time to not block that, because your initial reaction is, I'm a humble person and I don't want that to go someplace weird or whatever. And it took me a long time to learn what to let in and what to block out. Did you feel any of that? Do you experience any of that?
Yeah, it feels uncomfortable sometimes, like awkward. I'm kind of shy about it. It's like being on stage and in my power is one thing, but just like walking around being me. But the one thing about me is I realized so early on is like I cannot like portray this persona. I can't pull off that whole rock star thing like and hold it together. It's just not me. I'm a dork. I'm a geek. I'm just a regular person. So I made the conscious decision to be that in my performances and be that in my career. Just be myself, not try to be, And when I met Wendy Rule, who's one of my very best friends, I was like, she is a diva, man. She has got the whole thing. But the thing with Wendy is she's like that 24/7. She's just not like that just on stage. She's like that when she stays at my house. She's like that, having her cup of tea and porridge in the morning. She's a total rock star. So I just knew that I just couldn't pull that off. So I decided not to even try and just be myself. And if I do meet somebody like that, I honestly want to connect with them and find a way to connect with them as a person to a person.
Love it. If you could only pass on one piece of advice to the pagan community when you cross over, what would it be and why?
When you what? When you cross over?
Yep. When you transition
to the great beyond?
Yes.
I don't know how to answer that question. Who knows what's beyond?
Is there anything that you feel like you want to make sure you get across before that happened? If you knew you were going to transition tomorrow.
If I was going to transition tomorrow and I had advice for people?
Yeah.
I would say do what makes you happy in life. As far as like your career and your work, we spend so much of our time in work, and especially after working these day jobs from being independent as a musician, do what you love. It makes your work so much more awesomely fulfilling, and it makes you a healthier and happier person. So don't do what you have to do or what you think you should do. Do what you want to do what you love. And I think that's where you find your greatest success.
Yes, I love it. Can you tell us a little bit about your practice? Do you follow deities? Do you do any form of divination? Do you use crystals, herbs?
I live with an herbalist, so plant medicine is healing is a big thing in our house, but I'm an elemental witch. I become like very in tune and empowered by the natural world. I live on a mountaintop surrounded by state forest. I have like hemlock is like my cathedral in the backyard, and I have like a rim of 9 birch trees surrounding my yard. The whole thing is just spiritual and beautiful. So for me, it's very much elemental. It's just walking out the door and just the crisp wind hitting my face. Or, I mean, we have a wood stove. I'm a hearth tender. I'm working with fire all day long, and the elements, just the rain. I love it all. So the elements are how I am most connected to my spirituality. And I don't do things really with. I want to say I don't do intentional work because, like I said, every breath to me is an intention and every step is an intention. So I live in intention. I live with intention.
Love it. Love it. So tarot, anything like that?
Nothing like that. No, none of it. Never learned to read tarot, astrology, runes, anything like that.
So someone said, super unimaginative question. Is there a reason why your music is not on Spotify? Like, is it a royalty thing or?
Spotify is one of the worst paying platforms. And they were fighting to pay artists even less. And I got really pissed off one day, and I left like my first and last album and I took everything else off. I think I might have shot myself in the foot because I can't get it back on there. But it was my own personal way of protesting.
I don't blame you. And you know how rich they are. Give me a break.
Pandora's about the second worst. So there you go. They don't pay their artists. They don't honor our work in any way.
Do you find that transition, like since technology now has made it so, you can kind of get artists work without paying for it everywhere now? How do you deal with that? Or is there anything you can do?
Well, it was one of the reasons I had to stop touring, to be honest with you. I supported myself very handsomely for a long time, but there did come a point where it was, I would sell thousands and thousands of CDs a year, which were a great profit for me. And then it was like I could barely sell hundreds a year because people weren't buying them anymore. And the expenses for traveling got to be really so that they were unsustainable. And it's really a hard one to say. I love that my stuff's out on YouTube and Spotify and that people are getting it. I hope that, it leads to purchases every now and again, but there's just no way of knowing. I started a Patreon campaign to help get myself through this time with my most loyal fans that have subscribed and are helping to sustain me. And in turn, I'm giving them a new moon concert every month, and I'm reading book chapters for them, and I have all kinds of fun stuff. So that's kind of how I've been getting around it. And we just, on the mountain, we went from satellite internet to fiber optic just a few weeks ago. So now I'm able to live stream, and I could never do that before. A lot of times I'm recording concerts and uploading them now. And so I'm taking advantage of the technology because that's how we have to do it. We're not going to be touring and getting out to you people, for a while. Definitely not winter, definitely not spring, and I don't even know if we're going to get out in the summer. So
I know.
We'll have to figure out ways to get it online.
Definitely. Oh shoot, I lost my question. There goes my brain. That's all right. I was going to say about, let's see, Spotify and music, getting out there. Oh, your Patreon. First of all, I was going to tell you that I went to go on to Patreon, but because they do it at the beginning of the month, I figured I'd wait till December 1st. But we have posted all of those links, the Patreon account and your website and all that. So hopefully that gets you a couple new people anyways. I'm sure our people love you. So.
Wow, that's really great. Well, I'm like, the $6 donation is like, for $72 a year, you can get 12 concerts. If that isn't a selling point, I don't know what it is. $72 a year, you can get 12 concerts. Let's just put that there. I'll plant that seed.
Right? Holy moly. Heck yeah. Never mind. It used to be crazy all the time. Okay. Who are the 3 most influential people in your life, living or deceased?
My grandmother on my mother's side was hugely influential on me. She was ahead of her time and quite a powerful Scorpio woman. And she she is the one who told me point blank, do what you love in life. She told me young, in my 20s, and my parents really expected me to go to college, and I just kind of wanted to work and do music, and I was kind of battling with my folks about it, and my grandma was like, life, you do what makes you happy in life, or it's the only way to have a fulfilling life, have no regrets at all. So my grandma, Dolores, was a huge influence on my life.
Love it.
And Nina Simone is a huge influence on my life. She's one of my favorite singers, and was just stood her ground against tyranny and racism, and fled our country to be free and accepted elsewhere. And I loved her strength for that. And Amelia Earhart, she was an adventurous soul. She had a gypsy soul. She loved to travel too, and she's also one of my heroes.
Yes, love it. What is your intention? Someone said this is Oprah's number one question for everyone. What is your intention?
My intention is to just make my way through life doing things that I love, and if it has the added bonus of helping and fueling other people, then it's a bonus. Like Zumba, say, or like music that really speaks to your soul, or that you can do with ritual and sing with your friends. That's just a side bonus to it all, I guess. I want to continue reaching people and touching people with my music and what I have to offer.
If your books were made into movies, who would you cast to play the lead roles?
Oh, gosh, right? Yeah, wow, that's a great question. The books are pretty epic, but that one I don't know that I can answer right off the cuff. I'd have to think about it.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's funny. I have a lot of, I don't know, they'd have to be, younger version and older version.
Yeah, that's true. You have to have the younger and the older version. So it's really kind of hard to say.
Mm-hmm. So you're a musician, you're an author. What's next for you? What do you have coming up? You have Patreon. I know because of COVID and stuff, it's a weird time to say, what do you have coming up? Because who knows?
Well, actually not. So there are things that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to open up some workshops online now that I can, like, Zoom or whatever platform. This seems like a cool platform too. I should check out. And I want to do chant writing, like a creative writing, write your own chant workshop. And then I'm going to be opening up a series called Spirit Song. So it's going to be a Women's Moon Lodge Spirit Song Circle, where we kind of explore our voices, and we'll do 9 moons to start with, and then see if people are into it, and then keep it going. So I have some workshops planned for the new year, my Zumba classes, and then some Zumba with the Goddess. I was gonna get my friends with their awesome music and see if I could put together a playlist for us to dance to all our favorite pagan artists. I mean, how cool would that be if we did Zumba to some pagan artists? So yeah, and I want to finish the songs that I've got started, and I want to, we got to finish that 3rd book. And I'm in college. I got another year before I get my degree, so my plate's pretty full.
Yes, it is. You are a busy woman, for sure. If you weren't doing music right now, what would you be doing?
No, when I wasn't doing music, I was doing bookkeeping, which hence the accounting degree. But I'm really great with numbers, and I like to help small business owners that struggle with that kind of thing. So it really comes very naturally to me. So I have a couple of accounts right now that are independent business owners that I'm helping with their books. So I always fall back on the numbers thing. It's something I've been doing since I was, I did my dad's books for his construction business when I was in my late teens, and I've just always been something I can fall back on. That and Zumba, apparently. We'll see how that goes.
Yes. What's the most trouble you've ever gotten into?
Trouble. Knock on wood. I don't get in trouble. I'm not one of those people. No, I don't really get in trouble.
What is the best advice you've ever been given?
That advice from my grandmother. about doing what I love and following my heart and leaving this earth with as few regrets as could possibly have.
And if you could change the industry in any way, how would you change the industry, the music industry?
I would hope that they would start to really pay more royalties to artists, to writing and performing credits, because, you know, I make like 0.00037 cents on a Spotify play. I mean, you know, I get deposits that say zero, so they're 0.0024 cents. I don't even get anything. And there could be thousands of plays. It doesn't seem right to me. Doesn't seem right. Tens of thousands of plays.
Also, because I know I was talking to a tarot creator, and I couldn't believe how little she made when, like, Amazon sold one of her decks or something. Do you find that with the books also?
We self-published, so I guess the physical books through Amazon you don't make a whole lot on, but it's something. We make decent money on our retail. And we make decent enough money on Kindle, so it all comes down to volume. But they never pay anybody enough. You know, those billionaires, they got to take as much as they can from the hardworking artists. But
yeah,
not a huge margin of profit on those kinds of things. You definitely don't do it for profit. You're doing it for the love, for sure.
That's true. That's true. So is it better for you if we were to order your books off of your website? Do you get more than you would off of Amazon, or doesn't that matter?
Yes, definitely we get more off the website than if Amazon. But if it's easier, I mean, but if you're going to do Kindle, or, you know, you got to do Amazon. But physical books, yeah, it definitely helps us to be selling the physical books ourselves.
Okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind. We'll make sure we send people to your website.
Yeah, dude, I just put some specialty stuff up. I got a really great price on printing some items. So there's a couple of coffee mugs. I've got an I Walk with the Goddess coffee mug. And then there's one for the book series. It's a picture of a warrior. It says, "Get your warrior on." So I got a warrior mug. And then I put together a 2021 calendar of some amazing pictures I took of the stones and sacred sites when I was in Scotland. So I have a 2021 calendar on it. All special stuff I just put up like 2 days ago. Limited quantities at a really great price. So people can go in the store. If they go to the store page, all the CDs are there. All the bling is there. There's singles there. There's books. Everything is on a big, long store page there.
Awesome. Holiday shopping. We'll send people there. All right. Anybody else? I've seen questions pass by, and I'm such a squirrel that I kind of forget what I've seen pass by. Everybody's been having a really good time, though. Yes. All right.
I didn't see any comments.
Oh, lots and lots and lots of comments. So.
Oh, I don't see them. So they must be hidden from me.
Sometimes I think there's two different kinds of comments, like between us two, and then you have to click something. It's hard for me because I've never been on that end.
Okay.
But this has been really great. I don't have any other questions, as long as our people here don't. We have 32 people in right now, and I saw it go up to about 50. Nice. So I just have had a fabulous time. I'm really excited. We kind of have not announced it, but we've talked a little bit about, you know, depending on COVID, we hope to have you at Witchypalooza in the summer. Who knows?
I hope so. I hope so. We can only hope. Take it day by day, and you know, when I'm able to get back on the road, I'm there. Trust me, I have a wandering soul at heart.
Yay. Oh, here we go. If you could jump into a pool of anything, what would it be?
A pool of anything? Oh, Prosecco.
Right.
Just throw me some bubbles. I'm a happy girl.
Mikey asked, did you ever work at Terrapin Traders? The lady that owns it said you did, so it's been burning in my brain ever since.
I did work at Terrapin Traders in the 90s, actually. Wow. I did.
That's funny. Do you ever make crazy lyrics to random music?
Yes. Oh, yes. It's impossible not to. Yeah.
She's definitely just like you, Cass. It's yes. All right. Well, I think that's it. This has been really great. I've enjoyed this a lot.
Thanks for having me.
We've really been trying not to fangirl for the last month, but
I'm excited you have me. This is really wonderful. It's a great way to break up the monotony of, lockdown. So I appreciate it.
Yes. Yes. We have really enjoyed it. And like I said, December 1st, I'll be getting on your Patreon account. I can't wait to start seeing concerts and everything. Good. We will send everyone to your website for holiday stuff. And we've posted your Patreon account a couple times. So hopefully that'll help out a little bit. It's enlightening to know about the business end of it that you really don't get as an artist what you deserve. So we'll see if we can help out a little.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate all that support. Thank you, everybody out there, for hanging in.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.